Hello, 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 and welcome into Iron Sharpens Iron Media. I am Chris Bolin, and I am once again joined by Bloch, Quinn Denker. Fellas, how you doing today?
Doing great. Just blessed to be here again.
It's a great day to be great, man.
I love it. I love it. So coming off of a big win, let's call it a big win, if nothing else, than in margin, over Colorado College last night, 91-57. 12 guys got on the floor. As vague as I can be, kind of how you guys feeling after that one?
I think we're feeling great. It's always nice to, we obviously got 12 dudes on the floor. We were just talking about it. It's always nice to be able to see everybody be able to move the ball. And just we had 33 made shots and 26 of them were assisted. So that's a huge recipe for success, but it's also nice when you get a 30-point win and then you can still say, okay, we've still got kinks to work out in the armor.
Yeah, no doubt. I think there's a lot that we can say to improve upon, like Quinn was saying, even though we won by 30, there's always things you can learn from. And yeah, it's always fun when everybody eats. Like that's the goal of every game. If every game we could have 33 makes and 26 assists, whatever it was, that's a good day. So we're grateful that we have another game coming up and we can learn from this one.
It felt like Colorado College was a solid team, really skilled, had a couple tough shot makers, but ultimately, tell me if you see it different. It just felt like you guys kind of executed throughout, and you showed you're just a better team. Because it was it didn't look like I didn't see a crazy run. There were a couple, but all of a sudden I look up and it's oh, UNC's up by 30.
Yeah, I think it was funny. One of the guys on the other team said to me, I was sitting in the corner. He was like, "How many plays do you guys run?" And I said, "A lot." And then I come sprinting off a stagger at that exact moment, but we missed the play up, whatever. But I think that our offense is hard to scout for because we do run so many things, and when we just play in freedom and play in space, we also know how to get to the next action. And it got a little sticky at times, but I think that's just something, that's really hard to prepare for. We prepared really well for them. We knew everything they were going to do. And so that ultimately helped us.
What's funny too is people think, oh, how many plays you guys have? That's 1% of our playbook, which is like Zach said, it's really funny too because we most of those things that we were doing last night were just actions that we practice every single day, and so they look like they're scripted plays, but they're really just us playing, which is nice. And Colorado College is super well coached. Their coach is an awesome guy, really knows what he's doing. Preps those guys. Asher is going to be a D3 All-American for sure. Really good player. Had some shit to him. All those guys, they came in confident. They were ready. It was prepared. So it was a fun game. We knew it would be. But at the end of the day, it was just we really knew what we needed to do on the defensive end. It was close in the beginning. We were just missing some open shots. But we knew that as long as we kept defending and rebounding and doing the little things well, that the game would set.
It felt like you mentioned the scout. They had you not locked down, but it felt like there was a guy in your chest every single play. I think, what'd you get, 2 threes off? Yeah. You got open twice and knocked down both of them. But one thing I found fun, it was cool wrinkle in the second half, was that big lineup with Egan, Brock, and Ring at the 3. And I think the first possession, you guys got 3 or 4 offensive rebounds on one. So what we talked about that flexibility last night, but having those guys who can also shoot, how important is that to being able to do that with what you guys do?
All 3 of those dudes are preachers, we like to call. It's just fun because especially we talked about this last night with Big Sky play. Last year, there were a couple teams, the Portland States, Montanas of the world, that would play that bully ball 4. But our team even has gone a step further with that, and knowing that, okay, now we also have bully ball 3 and 4. Like Brock Wisney, who's one of the most dominant, if probably the most dominant center in the league, in my opinion. We have the best front court in the league. He's now playing the 4 because he can shoot and stretch the floor. And Egan Shields can also shoot it. And he hasn't even shown that yet. Ring Niyuri can really shoot. And so all these 3 dudes that are extremely versatile, they can play defense, they can rebound, they can just be monsters, but then they can also stretch the floor. And then, you'll have me and Zach out there. That's a massive lineup. But it's just, and it's a lot of fun to play in for sure.
Yeah, I was super happy for Ring on the first possession. Rips a guy outside, gets a dunk. That turned me up. But no, I love playing with all those guys, and it's so nice to have that versatility. Like, Ring at the 3, even you put a Reek at the 2, Brock at the 4, Egan at the 5. Like that is a lengthy lineup. So that we have a ton of weapons. Teams got to scout for that.
And then on the flip side, I think there was a point where you were playing the 4, maybe. A lot of. I think the overarching theme I took was just a lot of options on this UNC team. Probably have to narrow those down. Are you guys off today? Then fully dive into Colorado Christian.
Yeah, I think we have today completely off, and then we'll start talking about them tomorrow. I think.
Okay, so what last time you went through this is exactly what practice is going to look like. Looking back at some of the mistakes you made, some of the things you did well, what do you see kind of tomorrow looking like for you guys?
I think we'll start practice with just a couple things that we need to improve on. Like I think we threw the ball away a couple times. Just doing something like that will take like 5 minutes. We'll definitely do some finishing just because we missed a couple layups yesterday, and we want to make sure that we're dialed in because that's always our thing. More shooting drills because, like you said, they were giving us a bunch of open looks. But also, for example, they were base guarding Z wherever he went, so just some more shooting reps. But then the rest of the practice will just be diving into what does Colorado Christian like to run? What are we going to try to do against them? How are we going to attack them? What's their ball screen coverage? How do they defend? How do they help? And so we're just going to basically do certain actions and certain drills that'll narrate that.
Okay. Well said.
The one thing I run into doing college football stuff is when I'm at a game, I it's tough to focus on any of the other games going on. But did you guys get a chance to watch much basketball yesterday? I think it tipped off at 6 a.m.
Yeah, I got to watch a little bit of the St. John's game. There was something else I was watching, but I was on FaceTime with my boy Juju before the game, and he was just he's always watching all college basketball throughout the day, and then he was going to watch our game, so he was trying to find an ESPN Plus for our stuff. But we were watching the games, and it's always fun on game day. But I try not to watch too much basketball when I'm playing that day. I just don't want to overload my brain with stuff, and I try to make my days on game day as normal as possible. So I'll read, I'll journal, I'll pray, I'll do all that stuff. I'll watch some TV, stretch, roll out, but I don't want to I don't want to make my game days holy days, right?
Sure.
It's just another day, right? So anything I'm doing on a day when we just have practice, I'm going to do it on a game day.
Okay. Were you able to watch much, or do you watch much? I love that answer.
I'm kind of the same as him. On game days, I don't really like to. The thing is, I don't want to do too much of stuff that might fry my brain. I definitely treat game days the same as practice days because I think that's important just for consistency. But also, I don't want to do too many things like watching games and stuff. Then, like Zach said, it'll overload my brain. But there was a couple scores that I definitely did watch. Afterwards, I went back and looked through. There was a couple big games in the Big Sky last night that were pretty fun.
Yeah.
I know Idaho played Washington State and got the tip over them. That's awesome for them because men and women both won, which was huge for Idaho because I don't think both teams have done that since the 80s or something. So that was pretty cool for them. I saw Boise State lost to Hawaii Pacific last night.
I saw that
which was insane. I have a buddy, Ike Sutton, who's their point guard at Hawaii Pacific, and my former teammate, Lyle Sutton, from San Marcos, is an assistant coach there. And so, that was awesome. I still need to text Lyle, but that was awesome.
Oh, that's cool. I imagine that makes any flight going to Hawaii can only be so bad. But I imagine coming away with that win makes that 7-8 hours a little bit quicker.
Oh my gosh, what? What? I saw they posted a little video of their celebration afterwards and it looked crazy.
Really?
Oh my gosh, that was like us at Weber. They were soaking that locker room up. It was crazy.
That's awesome. I love that though.
That's the best.
You gotta celebrate that type of stuff.
100%.
Yeah, winning is hard. Winning is so hard.
It's so hard. 100%.
All right, yeah. So is Idaho, Washington State, like you said, both men's and women's do that? Is that like an annual kickoff thing where they start every season? Or?
It's not an annual thing, but I think they started doing it. I can't remember if they played the previous. I think when I first got there, they didn't play the previous season, but they definitely played. But my first season, that was our first game of the season, when Kyle Smith was still the coach there, and they had a really good team that year. And then the Eastern Washington coach, Coach Riley, left to go to Washington State the year after. I don't know if they opened. I honestly don't know. I don't know if they opened up or not, but I know it's something they're starting to do, and I guarantee you, after a game like this, after Idaho goes and beats them, they're definitely going to be like, that's going to be an every year thing now, 100%. I think they call it the Battle of the Palouse. Okay. So I'm pretty sure they'll redo that for years to come.
Okay, that's fun. Any, you said you have the day off. Any games or anything you guys are looking forward to doing today?
I want to watch this guy play.
Sure. Yeah, no doubt.
Luka Kolchak, UT Martin, man.
Yep.
I'm tuned in.
Okay.
Yeah, just watching a lot of basketball. My dad's in town, so I'm going to see him, hang out with him for a while, get some dinner. I don't know. What's the spot tonight?
Ed Bloch, dude. What a great guy.
Yeah, great dude.
What's the spot? What kind of food does he like?
He'll eat anything.
He'll eat anything?
He'll eat anything.
I think Chili Thai is a great option. I think Texas Roadhouse is a great option.
Yeah.
Crave hot dogs and barbecue.
See, I was just thinking that. I was thinking Crave.
Crave's good too.
Yeah.
If you want a steak, you go to Loveland, go to Chop House. That's a good one also.
That is. Yeah. Got some options.
There's good options here.
It's good.
Okay. How rare is like a full day off in the middle of the season? Or do they try to schedule those so you guys aren't just too worn down come like March?
No, we have to have off days. We usually get them. Sometimes it can turn into our travel days, so that kind of sucks. But, we try to get off days because it's important to have rest. It's a long season. Guys play a lot of minutes, so if you're not getting off days, your body's gonna break down. So it's super important.
Okay. We're trying to have this season be as long as it can possibly can, so you need days off because. Like I've been in other places where you don't get a whole lot of time off, or even if it's an off day, it's filled with a bunch of other things like meetings, activities, like having to go in or do, just different things instead of being off your feet. So it's really important to have off days, not just so physically, but mentally also, so that you can mentally endure a full season.
Yep.
Okay. When does that really start to wear on you throughout the season? Like, because I imagine if you went into the gym and played again today, you're still pretty fresh, still early on. But does come February, like January, is it really like, oh, I just need to turn off everything basketball and just like play some PlayStation, watch some Netflix? Like, does it get to that point?
I don't think you ever really know how much you need a day off until you get it. Your body will always tell you how much you need. Honestly, I don't think there's even really a time I can really prescribe.
Yeah.
Because, I feel tired today, but I know that because of this rest day, I'll feel great tomorrow. And it kind of just feels like that every single, no matter what time it is in the year, if the off days are prescribed and we kind of know them going into it, this is going to be an off day, you can kind of prep for it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you were kind of pivoting away from UNC. You were telling me before we started recording, you were on Last Chance U, the basketball doc. So you didn't play at East LA, but I'll let you tell the story.
Well, yeah, it's a crazy story. So I think it's season 2 of Last Chance U or whatever it was, and we're playing. I was playing at West Valley College. We were number 1 in the state at the time. We were playing really good. We just beat San Francisco City College, who was previous number 1, and they popped East LA in one of their episodes. And so my team had just gone, it's prime COVID. I think it's 2021, 2022 or something like that. And we had just gone under a team quarantine for about 5 days to a week. But we had not practiced in a week, had not played, had not done anything. And we show up thinking we're going to have practice. And then our coach texts us in the morning and goes, "Hey, jerseys are in the locker room." And we're like, "What in the world?" So we pull up and our coach is just like, "Yeah, we're playing East LA today." I'm like, "What?" "We haven't practiced in a week. What are you talking about?" We did a little, like, we did some sort of shoot around in the morning right there, like for 20 minutes, hopped on buses. Like, none of us had touched a ball in a week, hadn't practiced. We don't even know what their roster is. We were looking at papers on the way up to the game. And then come to find out after watching Last Chance U later, like, they had known for 2 days. So they've been prepping for us for 2 days, and we didn't even know we were playing until 20 minutes before we left. And so we're pulling up there, and it was just a crazy scene because we pull up. We played in Fresno. It was a neutral site game, so we didn't even go to LA. We met up halfway in Fresno. They stayed in Fresno a whole night and a half before. So they'd been already in Fresno practicing in their gym. We just drove to Fresno, a little 3-hour drive. And then we're there, and we pull up immediately as soon as you get off the bus. Netflix, just right in your face, just whole thing. And so, our team just immediately eyes open, like they're trying to, show out. So somehow guys started pulling up with chains. And I'm like, where'd you get a chain from? Like it's the craziest thing. And so we ended up losing that game. It was terrible. We ended up losing that game by 7. But of course, Netflix did a Netflix job, made us look like we lost by 40. But yeah, no, I got a little cameo, hit a couple buckets in that game. But it was funny. We ended up getting another part in like the last episode because my team made it to the state championship. But yeah, it was funny. That's my little Netflix Last Chance U story.
It's funny too because I think this was after you committed. I'm just sitting on my couch and I'm watching Last Chance U, and I see this 6'4" Mexican guy running around shooting jumpers, and I'm like, dude, is that Quinn? Like, I'm just watching. I didn't even know he was on there, and I just like, is that Quinn? So I call him. I'm like, dude, are you on Last Chance U? It's like, yeah, bro.
And that's Smiley's favorite thing to tell every recruit now. Like, every recruit, he's always like, Denker, JUCO guy, who's on Last Chance U. Oh my god,
that's fantastic. Was that 2021 then? 2020, 2021? Because I remember the first season of the basketball, like it ends with them like loading the bus and then finding out that the state tournament had been canceled. So is that following year when like you were still dealing with it, but there was stuff in place to keep rolling?
Yeah, so it was 21, 22. It was 2021, 2022. That's when I was in junior college because in the state of California, there was a bunch of rules with COVID and stuff. Like you had to get a booster shot in order to play. I ended up having to get 3 booster shots in order to play. Like just all throughout, like we had to, it was nuts. Like the state of California junior college was different than national junior college because it's its own entity. But it was nuts. Like in order to just be eligible to play, you had to go get a booster shot. It was the craziest thing. But yeah.
I got about 3 of them things.
Yeah. From grind session?
From everything.
Yeah.
Okay, you been in any TV things we should look out for you in?
Nah, I'm off the grid.
Not yet. I know you're quite the actor, man. There was another charge you took last night.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was a real one.
That one was a real one. That was an awesome charge. That had me cheese.
You feel that shoulder right in your abdomen. Oh yeah, I felt it. I did. Like I didn't have to fall for sure. I could have stayed on my feet, but I wanted one of those.
Yeah, you gotta teach me. You gotta teach me that.
Listen, it's just once you feel it, you just fall. That's it.
But like you don't. But it's not just like a simple fall. Like you really know how to fall. You know what I mean? Like, and it just whatever you do, it always makes it look like a charge.
Yeah.
Like it is a charge, but you really make sure it looks like a charge.
I don't know, man. I think I've just done it my whole life.
Yeah.
You know? Like since I was like 4th grade, I was just the charge master.
Man, I love that. Oh, that's funny.
Just a coach's dream out there in like rec league basketball taking charges.
Actually, you want to know what it was? It's my 4th grade team was called Can Do Hoops with a K.
Okay.
And my coach, Nick Marshall, great guy, great coach. He would give us a Gatorade if we took a charge. He would get us a Gatorade the next day. So I think that just ingrained in my brain. I wanted as many Gatorades as I could possibly get because my dad would never buy me Gatorade because he thought it was unhealthy. So I was like, I gotta get a Gatorade. Like it's the best thing I've ever had. So I I took a bunch of charges then, and I guess that's what did it for me.
Okay, I love that. The simple like response. So yeah, you're Kansas or Missouri, Kansas,
yeah.
and you're California. Who are your NBA teams?
The Lakers. Listen, grew up a Lakers fan. My dad's from LA, so I like the Lakers, Dodgers. Got it done again. But I am a Chiefs fan, so it's kind of nice to like.
Isn't that ironic?
It's kind of nice.
Isn't that ironic?
It's kind of nice to.
Why not the Rams?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Pretty
Why not the Chargers?
I just like waking up a champion every year. You know.
Well, so then are you NorCal?
He makes fun of me because I'm not really like. Since I play basketball, I feel like I don't really have an NBA team that I really like. Obviously, I grew up going to Warriors games. Loved obviously watching the Warriors when they were great, but I don't know if I can confidently say that like I'm a huge Warriors fan, just because I don't really follow it as much as I do the other sports. Like the other team I like watching is the Celtics. Like just those two because my grandparents and my dad have always kind of been Celtics guys. So I've liked watching those teams, but I'm more of like football, Niners, hockey, Sharks, baseball, Giants, like Bay Area through and through. It's kind of my deal.
Is football kind of the sport you guys like watching the most outside of basketball?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, probably. I also really like watching hockey. Like I'll watch hockey every now and again. Baseball is also great to watch. I honestly just like watching sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sports are just fun to watch. Yeah.
You mentioned Dodgers. How many of those, like, I guess the Dodgers really only had the one super long game, but how locked in were you to that series?
They had a couple. I think they had a couple long games.
Well, even that last game went in 12 innings.
Yeah, 12. Yeah.
Or 11 or something.
Yeah, something like that. I got to watch a couple of the games. I didn't get to watch too many of them, but I was always
fan.
Listen. We had practice and things and sleep, but I have the like on my phone. I have the little like ESPN thing just right on my lock screen, and it's just the score. I'm always checking the score, so I'm always tapped in. So I'm actually not a fake fan.
Let the record show.
Yeah, let the record show. Yamamoto, killer.
Yeah, he is a killer.
Killer.
Did you guys play? Did you guys play other sports growing up? How early did you lock into basketball?
I know you specialized late, right?
Yeah, well, so my high school kind of made me specialize. Like you had to choose, but I was playing 4 sports for a while. Like I was playing, I played football, baseball, soccer. Also, soccer was the first one to go. I love soccer too. Like that's another sport I like to watch a lot. But I was playing football. I usually played defense. I'd be a quarterback or safety. I played safety in like corner a lot in high school. And then baseball, I loved baseball. That was the one I wanted to play, but it really conflicted with basketball just because the season started while we were also in basketball. I was a center fielder in baseball, and I loved it. My little brother and my dad were really good baseball players, and so I was really disappointed that I had to give up those sports just because I loved them. That was a piece of who I was too. But I'm a big fan of not specializing. I just don't think there's really any point in that.
Yeah, we learned a lot about that in our summer class. Actually, it was about specialization.
Oh wow!
And how it's you don't want to specialize too early, but I did. I specialized in like 5th grade.
Okay.
And then I picked up tennis in high school.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I played a couple years of tennis. No, it was middle school. Middle school, I played some tennis.
Seriously?
Yeah, I was a dog actually.
I noticed about you.
Yeah. I was kind of like on the like B team tier.
Yeah, but hey.
But like I'd never touched a racket in my life, and then I was probably like 1 or 2 on the B team.
That's
so
good
I was
money.
Yeah. So I was it was actually kind of nice to have a break from basketball to do something else. So I would just I would recommend to anybody, don't specialize, play as many different sports as you can, because it works on these different muscles and different abilities that you won't get in sports. So then when you come to you work on your footwork in soccer, and then you come to basketball, then you have better footwork in basketball. It just kind of goes hand in hand. So but I did like the fact that I got to spend a lot of time working on my game, playing basketball, because that's what I love to do the most. I think a lot of it had to do with I was really good when I was young. Like that was like I felt like I was so far above everybody else when I was little, and that's probably what made me love the game. But then I went through a stretch where I didn't grow, so I was like 5'8" for a while, and everybody just kind of passed me up, and I started to kind of hate basketball a little bit. But it made me that was a lot of adversity for me, and it made me realize that I can love the game just based on playing the game. Now, I don't have to be better than everybody else to love playing basketball.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting. And with the specialization stuff, I'm not surprised that there's a full like summer class on it with all kind of the talk and the issues surrounding it. Is that kind of the crux of it? It's just you can grow so much more as a full athlete that will complement you in ways that like specializing doesn't.
Well, the two major terms in our class was physical maturity and burnout. Physical maturity, like Zach was talking about, like you play soccer, you're able to develop your footwork. You play basketball, hand-eye, baseball, hand-eye, football, toughness. Like every single sport is teaching you something that's detrimental to your success as an athlete, not just as a whatever sport you're playing, just like as an athlete.
Yeah.
And so I think burnout for me was probably the biggest thing, and for a lot of athletes it is. Like they talk about a million times how coaches, parents, trainers can all affect burnout, but specifically affect specialization. Trainers nowadays are just trying to get you to, just focus on basketball. Just come. Why do you need to go to football practice? Just come get working with me so you can be great at basketball. And really, they just want your service.
Yeah.
They just want you to work out, be in the gym so they can film you more, make more clips so they can profit more. Parents even, they're the first ones to get suckered into it because they're like, scholarships. I need my kid to get a scholarship. And he won't get a scholarship unless he quits all this other sports. That's not true at all.
Yeah.
Like coaches also, they want their teams to be successful so they don't get fired. Yeah. So they don't want your star player Zach Bloch getting hurt playing soccer, or getting hurt playing football, getting a concussion. They want him to play basketball. So that's like like Zach talked about earlier, burnout. I have to do another sport. Like I'm golfing all the time. Like I have to do something other than that, because if I'm just doing basketball, like my brain will just kind of like turn into mush, to be honest. Like because I think about it so much, and we're both overthinkers.
Yeah.
And we think about what we're doing, and we just put our whole like heart and soul into whatever we're doing so much that it's important that you can also divvy it out and do other things like watch soccer, play golf, play tennis, pickleball. Is there a reason you chose tennis? Like I feel like that's so niche for you.
I think me and like my best friend Alec were like, bro, do you want to like try out for the tennis team?
That's
and he's like, yeah,
I love that.
Let's do it.
That's probably why you're dirty at pickleball.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I do. My parents were playing pickleball before it was even a thing.
Seriously?
Yeah, they were like the pickleball founders.
The ground floor.
Yeah, I remember pickleball in like PE when I was in middle school.
Yeah,
and that was like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. Pickleball's fun. We should get out there and play.
I'm actually down
before it gets too cold.
Yeah. I have those rackets in my car.
Easy.
What you mentioned golf? Yeah. What with the weather turning? What do you guys kind of do to get away from basketball? Because it is a grind, even from like the outside, really.
I mean, me personally, I need to start going golfing with Q. The thing was I was gonna get back into it, and then my shoulder messed my shoulder up, so that I couldn't golf anymore. But I don't really play many other sports. I think how my whole life is like Jesus, the Bible, all that. So like that's where I spend majority of my time when I'm not playing basketball, and that's kind of how I like get away from it, escape from it. It's my my comfort, my home, my just where I turn to when things aren't going well, when things are going well. It's a great way for me to if my worth is in that, then basketball doesn't I'm not riding this roller coaster of emotions with basketball, because that's all it is. It's not stability, right? You can have one game where you shoot really well, and you can have another game where you don't. And that could, if that's your whole life, that can really affect you mentally and affect how you treat people. affect your overall joy and happiness and peace. So I think it's very important to have multiple avenues in your life and multiple things that you, um, you know, can turn to. And, the Lord is constant, right? He doesn't change. So that allows us to have a peace of mind regardless, right? And a work that never changes. So
I'm going to piggyback on that. There's a word that we've been studying a lot recently. It's abide. In the book of John, it says, "Abide in me and I in you." The word abide means to either remain or make a home in. And so we were talking about like off days earlier, and how we spend our off days and how we center ourselves and how we reset. Because another thing that you don't realize is an off day could turn into a bad day really quickly.
Yep.
Like it's the kind of like if you are not abiding in the right things, or if your mind is not going to the right spaces on your days off, then it's a complete waste of time. And if anything, you'll get worse from it. And so, like Zach was talking about, in his days off, it's not just about, I'm going to go binge a whole show on Netflix, or I'm just going to, doom scroll all day long, or I'm just going to go play video games for hours and hours and hours. I'm going to go try to, how can I get better physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually that day? He's going to check those boxes and make sure that that's a way he's growing too. Because when you do get to that place where you're just so burnt out, like you had a bad day, you missed a shot, you did bad on a test, like you just need a mental reset. Where are you abiding in? Because a lot of people, they'll abide in social media. There's a lot of people that will abide in going to a party. There's a lot of people that will abide in, just hanging out with the wrong crowd of people. It's important to center yourself and abiding in the right things. And so it says, "Abide in me and I in you." We choose to abide in faith because we know that that's in the Bible, it talks about being thirsty. Like you can drink the water from the world. Well, you'll always end up going back to it because you'll keep getting thirsty. When Jesus is eternal water, he's living water. So like when you drink the water of him, you'll never be thirsty again. And so we talk about on our off days, if we're drinking the eternal water, the living water, then that's just going to fill us and reset us for the entire week. So we always think about that instead of going to the world for just these quick highs to feel good and whatever it is. We're always going to choose the harder route and just dive and try to get better in the Word, because we know that that'll help us and really help us endure a long season of basketball.
How important is it for both of you to have kind of each other, like a second person who's also sees things the same way and can kind of help support and help like grow towards that common goal?
Community is everything. Like you can't do anything by yourself. You need people around you that have the same mindset, the same goals. Like we talk about Iron Sharpens Iron. That's why we named that podcast what we did, because without each other, like we're not going to be able to get better. We're not going to be able to grow. We have somebody that we can come and confide in. We can confess our sin to. We can come to when we're struggling. And, I'm blessed to have this guy in my crib with me every single day. Like it's truly a blessing to have a brother in Christ that, has the same goals in life as we do on the court. And it's just like, we have it's us two, and then it's also the rest of our team. Like the rest of our team is big in faith, and we have team Bible study, right? We meet every Wednesday, and we get to talk about the Word and get to open up about things that we're struggling with and going through, and it's such a blessing to have that on our team.
Okay, and that's a perfect transition. You guys talked about Splash Disciples at the end of the last podcast, and we wanted to make it a bigger part of what we're doing here. So I'll just I'll hand it over to the disciples. Tell me what you got today.
Well, I think we just kind of want to talk a little bit about the Splash Disciples Instagram account that we have. We went to this camp this summer called the Ultimate Training Camp. It's like 200 athletes from all over the country it's at CSU Fort Collins. And we all get together and we learn about how to worship God in our sport, right? So I think that was a very important concept to learn about, because we worship our sport as athletes a lot of the time. How can we worship God through our sport, right? And it was just an amazing experience. There's nothing like it. the amount of peace that you feel, the hard times that you go through at this camp, because this camp is really hard. It's a bunch of athletes, and like they put you through like this grueling, this grueling 24-hour thing. It's super challenging, and there's people, cramping. Like some people have to go to the hospital. Like it's wild, and it teaches you to rely on God when you run out of your strength, right? So it's to break you and to just make you rely on Him and others around you, right? So we created this Instagram account called Splash Disciples. I think Quinn's mom came up with the idea, right? Or was it you?
Honestly, don't even remember who kind of came. I think me and her were just like talking about it. It was a spurred moment, but Zay Fig, who's his basketball trainer, came and worked out with us, called us the Splash Disciples some random day, and it was like it was because of the game. It might have been when we played Montana.
I think, yeah.
And we both hit a bunch of threes, and it was like this whole thing. And he posted something that was like, "Oh, the Splash Disciples," and then just kind of looked at each other and we're like, "That's fire."
Yeah,
and it kind of just worked. But like what Z was saying too, that camp, man alive, it'll break you down. Like Zach said, it was 24 hours, but it's a whole week long where you're just learning to worship. You're learning to bring God into your sport. But they do this thing called the special. I'm not going to give any details on it. If you want to learn the details, go to the camp. But the only detail I will share is that the special started at 4 p.m. on a Wednesday and ended at noon on a Thursday with about 1 hour's of rest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was like you were going and competing and running you're competing against each other, competing against other athletes and teams. And it will break and show you every single idol you have in your life and how it is a chain that's holding you back from being who you're meant to be. Specifically within myself, I learned what my idols were. I had a huge idol in winning. I prioritized winning over anything else. I prioritized it over my teammates. I prioritized it over people. I prioritized it over myself and my own well-being. And that was something that really held me back from being a better leader. There were a lot of mistakes I made in my past and, at other schools I've been at that I know that was an idol that held me from being great at where I was at there. I just read a book recently called Stay Sane in an Insane World by Greg Harden. And he writes about this hockey player who had, in the Bible, God talks about idolization all the time and idolizing things other than him. And, when you read the Bible, you usually think about other gods. Like, don't idolize other gods. He is the one true God. But a lot of people don't realize is that our own dreams sometimes can become idols if our brain's not in the right place for that. And so Greg Harden tells this hockey player, he goes, your dream of being in the NHL is an idol for you. And you know what God does with idols? He takes them away. Mm. And so that really opened my eyes for me and was like, look, if I ever want to achieve anything in this lifetime, whether it's playing in the NBA, whether it's just being a good father, whether it's just being a good friend to him, I have to put God in the forefront of every single thing that I'm doing and just put all my faith and trust in him and just do my best and let him do the rest. Mm-hmm. Because I know that my eyes just need to be fixated on him, and then I'll just let him handle whatever he wants to do with my life.
Right. Yeah. And after this camp, we created the account, and now it's an account for athletes to spread the gospel and to share their stories and their testimonies. And I just think that it's, if anybody has anything they want to share, like even if it's just like a word they read this morning or, or a hard time in their life, like they can go on this account, they can send it to us and we'll post it on there and they can share their stories. I think it's just encouraging to hear other people's journeys and what they've been through. And, it helps you to realize that like, you're not alone. Everybody, all these athletes go through these same struggles that you're going through. Right. So it's a blessing to be able to share the gospel, share people's stories and testimonies. And, we're grateful and thankful for that as an opportunity.
I also think too, there's a stigma in faith about not wanting to share your faith, right? Yeah. It needs to be a private thing. Sure. And that's just the complete opposite, because I can't tell you how many times I have, like, someone's been nervous to share their testimony or something, and then they end up sharing it. And then that's a person in Ohio, but then a person in California is DMing me saying that this person's testimony from this person in Ohio has completely changed their life. Mm. and the person in Ohio doesn't even know it, right? They're just living about their day. You know, they just posted this testimony, and they're like, oh, you know, I was a little nervous to do that, but then they don't even understand how many people they've affected by telling their story. That like their courage and trust in the Lord to be able to share this word about their life gave encouragement and a light to somebody else a whole country away. And that's been pretty cool just for us to see. It's like it's always the messages we get back and the support. And we obviously made those shirts, and now a bunch of people wanting to buy the shirts, and so that's been cool.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the shirts. Is there a spot to buy those, or will there maybe be in the future?
There will be in the future. We're currently working on that right now, just because so many people have asked us. I'm trying to figure it out how I want to do it, but we have the production. We know how to do it. It's just a matter of putting together some sort of spreadsheet in a way to get the orders placed and everything like that. I'm not the most tech guy in the world, so I'm trying to figure it out right now. But yeah, in the future there will be.
Okay, awesome. And what's the app? Just I don't want to butcher it. The handle, like what's the account?
Oh, it's called The Splash Disciples.
And so just at Splash, just at
The Splash Disciples.
Okay. I'll put that in we'll put that in the description and also on the screen too.
I love it.
So that's honestly that's super powerful. All tying back to that sense of community too.
Yeah.
And I think that's a perfect way to wrap episode 2 here. So we'll be coming to you every week. Once again, I appreciate you, Zach, Quinn. Thank you so much. If you like what we're doing, please throw that like, comment, subscribe, review, all that good stuff. And we will see you later. Any parting thoughts before I unceremoniously close us out here?
Go Bears, man.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Good is the enemy of great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Have a good one.